Guys, I don't even know where to begin. I've been following Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's story for years, and I've never been this stunned, this moved, by something that happened behind the scenes. This wasn't in a drama. This wasn't scripted. This was real life, and it happened in the middle of the most emotional moment of their lives. Before I dive in, if you're new here or if you've ever rooted for these two even just a little, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what happened at Dylan and Shen Yue's wedding wasn't just beautiful, it was absolutely unforgettable. And the way Dylan's family stood up and spoke about Shen Yue, it left the entire room in tears. Yes, tears. Alright, let's get into it. As many of you already know, Dylan Wang and Shen Yue just tied the knot in a stunning private ceremony abroad. It was elegant, quiet, intimate, everything you'd expect from a couple that has always protected their love from the public eye. The wedding took place on a sun-kissed cliffside overlooking the sea. Think white flowers, gold accents, and handwritten vows under a glowing sunset. But right when everyone thought the ceremony was winding down, something completely unexpected happened. Dylan's family, who, up to that point, had been sitting quietly in the front row, stood up. First his mother, then his father, and then his grandmother. The entire room fell completely silent. Even Shen Yue looked surprised. Nobody had seen this coming, not the guests, not even Dylan himself. You could see it on his face, he was confused, then emotional, then completely still. And then Dylan's mom stepped forward. She took the microphone, her hands shaking just a little, and said, "There's something we need to say. Something we've been holding in for too long." Guys, the energy in that room? You could feel it shift. People held their breath. Even the violinist stopped playing. She looked right at Shen Yue, and what she said next had everyone crying. She said, "Shen Yue, you don't know this, but from the very first day Dylan brought you up, I knew you were going to change his life. But what I didn't know, what none of us knew, was how deeply you'd become part of ours." Shen Yue instantly started tearing up. And she wasn't alone. The camera caught at least 4 bridesmaids dabbing their eyes. Even Dylan reached out and held her hand tighter. Dylan's mom went on. "You brought peace into my son's heart. A heart that was always too wild, too restless, too closed off to the world. You made him soft again. You reminded him how to laugh without worrying about who was watching. You made him want forever. And for that, I will spend the rest of my life thanking you." Let me tell you, if I wasn't already sobbing at this point, the next part absolutely wrecked me. Dylan's grandmother, who had quietly walked up beside her daughter, took the mic. She looked fragile, with her white hair and slow steps, but her voice? So steady. So powerful. She looked at Shen Yue and said, "Child, you are not marrying into our family. You've been our family since the moment you chose to love my grandson with your whole heart. And today, I want the world to hear it, this woman is our treasure." That phrase, "our treasure," started trending on Chinese social media within the hour. Fans couldn't stop reposting it, quoting it, turning it into fan art, gifs, everything. Because that's how deeply it hit everyone. And right after that, Dylan's father stepped forward. He's usually very quiet, very reserved, almost never speaks publicly about Dylan or his career. But this time, he had something to say. He looked at Dylan first, then Shen Yue, and simply said, "I was skeptical. I'll admit it. I thought you two were just caught up in the magic of acting. That it was all make-believe. But then I watched you, especially you, Shen Yue. You didn't fall for the spotlight. You didn't change him. You calmed him. You made him stronger. And you earned this moment with grace. I'm proud to call you my daughter." At this point, people in the audience weren't just emotional, they were shook. Because this wasn't just polite wedding praise. This was Dylan's entire family, who had stayed out of the public eye for so long, coming forward with the most heartfelt validation a bride could ever receive. And Dylan? He couldn't even speak. He just kept wiping his eyes and holding on to Shinyu like she was his entire world, which, let's be honest, she probably is. When it was time for Shinyu to respond, she was crying. Her voice cracked. But she still managed to say something that's already being quoted everywhere online. She said, "I came into this day thinking I was marrying the love of my life. I didn't expect to be embraced by a second family. I don't know how I got so lucky. But I promise, I will love him, and you, with everything I have." Cue the sound of every heart in the room breaking and healing at the same time. Now, let me just say this, if anyone ever doubted whether Dylan Wang's family supported this relationship, let that doubt die right here. Because they didn't just support it, they celebrated it. They lifted her up. They spoke about her like she was already a piece of their soul. And that kind of love? That kind of acceptance? It's rare. Especially in the world of celebrities, where family drama often plays out in tabloids or behind closed doors. What we witnessed was unity. Real, emotional, tear-stained unity. And it honestly changes the entire narrative we've been told for years. Because remember, for so long, people speculated that Dylan's agency or family didn't approve of him being with Shinyu. There were rumors, fan wars, articles claiming they had to keep things secret. But now? Now we know, not only were they in love all along, but they were being quietly supported behind the scenes. So what does this mean going forward? Well, a few industry insiders have already hinted that Dylan might be taking a long break, not just a honeymoon, but to be with Shinyu as they start their new life. There are whispers of a baby on the way. Nothing confirmed, of course, but fans are already analyzing every photo for baby clues. And after that kind of speech from the family? A little grandchild might be the cherry on top. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear, this isn't a fanfiction. This isn't a rumor. This is real. Dylan Wang and Shinyu are married, in love, and completely supported by the people who matter most. And that moment, when Dylan's family stood up and shared their hearts, that sealed everything. So to all of you watching this video, whether you're a longtime fan or someone who just stumbled across their love story, take this moment in. Let it remind you that sometimes, the best plot twists are the ones that happen off-screen. The ones that are unscripted, raw, and filled with nothing but truth. Dylan and Shinyu found each other in a chaotic, beautiful world. And now, they're walking into forever with the full blessing of the family that raised him. That's not just a happy ending, it's a powerful new beginning. If this story touched your heart like it did mine, please leave a comment below. Share your favorite Dylan and Shinyu moment. Or just send them your well wishes. They deserve to feel this wave of love. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe. Because I'll be following every next step in this journey. Whether it's honeymoon photos, baby news, or just sweet little updates from their married life, I'll be here to keep you posted. Until then, hold your loved ones close. Say what's in your heart. And believe that sometimes, just sometimes, real love speaks louder than words. See you in the next one.